As we are inching closer to the comeback of NFL football, we are going to be talking about a possible comeback season for a certain impactful defensive player, and his name is Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, in my personal opinion, you guys might feel differently, but in my opinion, last year, Minkah had a down year. He didn't have any interceptions, which is the first season in his entire NFL career where he didn't claim one single interception.
Well, not just interception, but even a turnover. Like, he didn't force a fumble. He didn't get a fumble recovery. He didn't get any of that. Not a defensive touchdown. He had nothing.
Well, it's not just the stats either. He played only 10 games, so he was hurt the majority of the season. He missed 7 games. And on the field, his effort and some of his play was a little inconsistent, a little undesired from what you would expect from Minkah Fitzpatrick. And that's not all entirely his fault, because last year, in the second half of the season, the defense just wasn't all that until, of course, towards the very end where they made a strong push and the defense had to do what they had to do. But even then, Minkah just was out of position. He was out of play. He wasn't used the way that we know Minkah should be used. And that's not the first time that's happened in our system. No. Under Terrell Austin, under Mike Tomlin. It's not the first time that's happened with Minkah, who all remembers 2021, where he led the team in tackles.
Yeah, 124, if I'm not mistaken. For a free safety, that's a little more than you want to see.
Yeah.
A little more than you expect.
Well, that's because our front seven, our rush defense was so bad that Minkah had to be the last resort of defense for literally everything. The running back, the running game, the receivers, the ball carriers were getting in the secondary so much. Minkah was the last person to stop them from anything happening, which is why he led the team in tackles, as well as him playing in the box more so than he should have. And a lot of that has to do with the inconsistencies in the front seven, with the injuries and the undependability at the linebacker room. And the same thing was shown this past season in 2023, where he missed, was it 7 games I said? He missed 7 games. The first 4 games that he missed with a hamstring injury. We suffered 2 injuries at the linebacking position in back-to-back weeks. Season-ending injuries to Cole Holcomb in Week 9 and Quan Alexander Week 10. Minkah would come back in Week 13 versus the Arizona Cardinals. We all know how that turned out. And that's where he would literally have to play linebacker. Once again, an unofficial 5th linebacker on the field, where he had to play in the box a lot more than he should have, because there was no one else that the Steelers could have used to trust to play in the box, to play alongside that front seven and stop the rushing attack. Minkah can do it. It's not a question if he can or if he can't. He's shown he can do it. It's just not where he should be. It's not where he should play. And again, that's not all of Minkah's fault. We've seen in years past the injuries, the inconsistent play, and where the coaching plays him just doesn't allow Minkah to play Minkah ball.
No.
And a big reason for that as well, not just due to the linebacking injuries, not just due to some of the inconsistencies in the front seven, but also last year, I think this is an underrated talking point, man. This is kind of one that goes under the radar. Last year, he didn't have anyone opposite of him at safety. The first 4 years when he was a Steeler, where he played Minkah ball, where he led the team, he led the league in interceptions, right? He had Terrell Edmunds. And as much as Terrell Edmunds was a hot and cold type of player with the fan base, he allowed Minkah to do what Minkah had to do.
Yeah, at least Minkah, when it came to the strong safety position, he knew who the starting strong safety was. And with Edmunds, he had that chemistry. They had that chemistry where they could work together. Edmunds knew Minkah's game, and Minkah knew Edmunds' game. They gelled together, and they were a very nice safety tandem when Edmunds was here. When Edmunds left in free agency to go to Philly before being traded to Tennessee,
right,
we had Keanu Neal, who we picked up in free agency, and DeMonte Casey, who's not really a pure strong safety. He's more of that hybrid defensive type of defensive back in the slot, at free safety more so than strong safety. But if you remember, Neal and Casey, they were co-starters. So Minkah had to learn the chemistry between both of them rather than just one.
Exactly. And not just them, but clearly, due to the injuries at safety, including Minkah, including Casey, including Neal, we had however many other safeties coming in. We had Eric Rowe. We had Trent Thompson. We had a bunch of guys in the back half of the secondary in the safety room to come in, and it was just, You know, they did what they had to do. Some of them did pretty well, right? But it's just, you're right, that communication, that consistency just wasn't there. And a lot of factors for the defense, but especially for a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think that's going to change a lot this year because, one, the linebacker room is incredibly stacked. It is insane. And DeShon Elliott was just signed by the Steelers this past offseason. I think that is going to be a very underrated signing for the Steelers because that's going to fix so much for the defense. To have a strong safety that can play anywhere and play at a great level and allow everyone on the field to do their job and do their role solely is massive. Mm-hmm. That's what Edmonds brought to the table. That's what made Edmonds allow Minkah to play deep and create the turnovers and prevent the deep ball, right? That's what allowed the front seven, the pass rush especially, to just feel free to get to the quarterback without having to drop into coverage or minimize the amount of pressure, the amount of hurries that we could have gotten. We're going to do that with Elliott now. Elliott is going to play in the box more. He's going to play in the slot. He's going to play in the front seven, mostly where he's shown, man, he can play that. He's a great open field tackler. He's a great blitzer. He is phenomenal in the run defense. That's going to allow Minkah to not have to worry about that. He can play in the free range. He can play deep. He can play in Minkah's zone and let him play Minkah ball.
Yeah.
That is huge there. And clearly one of the biggest reasons why it was underutilized is because of how much he was using the box, especially last year. He only played 10 games last year, but he still saw an enormous amount of reps in the box in very limited playing time compared to what he saw while playing the entire season in years past. So, for example, Minkah Fitzpatrick last year played 149 box reps. 149 box reps in 10 games, right? In 2022, where he had 6 interceptions.
Yeah, Pro Bowl year.
He had 161 box reps.
Yeah, so in 10 games last year, he only had 12 snaps less of what he had in 15 games in 2022. I mean, that's just outrageous.
Yeah, and that shows you, yes, that was mostly due to the linebacking injuries. You know, so when we look at Minkah and look at how he played last year, and there was some lack of effort, there was some poor play a little bit from Minkah, missed tackles and stuff like that. It's not all entirely his fault. You know, the Steelers needed someone to depend on when those linebackers went down. We've seen it in years past. It's not the first time it's happened to Minkah, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think this year, because of the additions they've made, not just a linebacker, but in the secondary as well, that's going to allow Minkah to not have to worry about playing in that position. He can, but it's not a matter of if he can or can't. It's a matter of if he should. He shouldn't because we clearly need someone to play the deep ball. We need someone to play deep safety. We need someone that can prevent any threat down the field for offenses.
Because if Minkah's not up top, you don't have anybody else with the ability of what Minkah can bring to the table to fill that role. Because KZ had an incredible amount of snap count over at free safety compared to Minkah. Last year, Minkah only had 227 free safety snaps. DeMonte Casey, however, he had more than that, much more than that, when he had 629 free safety snaps. Wow. And KZ's obviously not anywhere close to Minkah Fitzpatrick type of player. He's admirable, but there's a reason why he's now a backup.
Right.
There's a reason why he's now a more rotational piece at this current stage of his career.
Yeah.
If Minkah's not there, then the deep ball for the Steelers is screwed.
Yeah, we've seen that. We've
seen that a lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, so Minkah is still an elite playmaker. In my opinion, I think he is still one of the best safeties in the entire NFL. Just because he had one down year, which wasn't entirely his fault, that doesn't mean that Minkah is washed or Minkah's coming down on his prime. Minkah is a phenomenal safety. He has been a blessing to us for a long time. He was a blessing to us in 2019, and he's done nothing but give us all positive. Last year, he was hurt for 7 games with, like I said, a hamstring and a knee injury, and just the injuries we had in the defense, which seems to be a reoccurring thing every single year. But hopefully this year, with how stacked we are, especially a linebacker, that's going to allow Minkah to not even have to worry about such a thing.
Yeah.
And he can just do what Minkah has to do. Maybe he can lead the league in interceptions once again, like he did in 2023 or 2022.
I just want Minkah to play Minkah ball.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets an enormous amount of interceptions, I mean, that's a bonus right there and then. But as long as Minkah can do what he does best, and that's play the free safety role to lock down the deep ball, where quarterbacks would be like, I don't want to throw over there, or I don't want to throw deep because Minkah's right there and he's got an eye for the ball. As long as he has that impact, I mean, we're golden when it comes to the secondary.
Absolutely. And the fact that we have a 3 safety set with Minkah, DeMonte Casey, and DeShon Elliott, that's even going to help Minkah out a lot, because with those 3 safety sets, they can customize any way they want to put those guys on the field. If they want to put Minkah in the slot, he can do it. But obviously, he should more so play deep. So you can put Casey in the slot. You can put Elliott down in the box if you want, and it still allows Minkah just to worry about his position and what he's best at.
Yeah.
And that's going to open up so much for the defense below Minkah. He has no worry about anything below him because he has guys that can fulfill the roles that Minkah, unfortunately, had to put on last year because of all the injuries. If everyone stays healthy, knock on wood, I think Minkah is going to have an absolute great bounce back year.
And I would have to think that was a goal in mind for Terrell Austin and, of course, Omar Khan, because they know, where his strong suit is. Everybody knows where his strong suit is. It's obvious. Just watch the tape. So Khan had a mission to load the defense up, bring all these defensive pieces in, load that linebacker room, thankfully, to where, it's actually reliable with the amount of names and talent and impact that these guys could bring to the table compared to years prior, especially last year. They are trying to get these guys in their proper spots and their strong suits. You put these guys in their strong suits and they go out there and perform, you're going to win some football games. Yeah. You're going to see the best out of these guys.
And
that's what you want.
You can utilize all these defenders to the best of their ability and make the defense truthfully elite, where no offense is threatening to us, where we can create turnovers, we can continue to make plays all over the football field.
Especially in not only a division, but a conference where it's just nothing but hot and fired offenses. I don't even have to go over the names. We already know some of the top offenses in this conference.
Yeah, and of course, one of the main chess pieces, the big 3 really for our defense is Minkah, Watt, and I would put Hayward there. If you want to put Highsmith over Hayward, feel free. No problem. But Minkah is still part of the big chess pieces on our defense. So if you put him where he needs to be, where he can work to the best of his ability, that's going to eliminate a lot of factors for the opposing offense.
Yeah.
And I think, like Rob stated, that was a big goal for adding Elliott. That was a big goal for adding a guy like Patrick Queen and, of course, Payton Wilson to the defense, because it's gonna open up so much for the defense. And Terrell Austin can get really creative with so many of the guys that he's added, while allowing Minkah to still play Minkah ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great thing about this defense. And I'm very excited to see Minkah bounce back this year. As long as he stays healthy and Terrell Austin and the defense put him where he needs to be, and, of course, if the defense stays healthy for the majority of the season, Minkah, man, we're going to see the Minkah of, I don't want to say Minkah of old, but the Minkah of 2022, the Minkah of 2019, the Minkah of 2020.
Yeah.
Right? Where he's just making plays. He's a highlight reel. And for the most part, he was our offense. So I think Minkah is due for another great season. I think he's due for a big bounce back year. I'm very excited for Minkah Fitzpatrick, man. I think Minkah should be very excited about the guys that's going to benefit him especially. It's going to make the defense as a whole phenomenal. It's going to make the defense as a whole elite once again. So I'm excited for it, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you guys feel about Minkah Fitzpatrick? What are you looking forward to see with Minkah Fitzpatrick in 2024? How are you feeling about this entire defense, man? Let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and here we go, Steelers.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!